town, Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the July 23rd Padres pregame show. They play the Mets today, the second of three at Citi Field in New York. I'm Ben Fadden, your host. This is the Talking Friars pregame show. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. Padres obviously came off of their win last night, their 53rd win of the season, beating the Mets 4-1. Eric Hosmer homered, Trent Grisham homered. Yu Darvish pitched really, really well. So that was a good way to start off the unofficial second half of the Padres season. Got a lot to discuss today. Some trade rumors that are out there involving the Padres and the latest about the Juan Soto trade sweepstakes, even if he's going to get traded at all. Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ. We'll be talking about that a little bit. And obviously, first, we're going to talk about the pregame part of this show, the actual game and the pitching matchups and all that. And then we'll get to the trade rumors. So, first off, again, the social media channels are at Talking Friars on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, at Talking Friars for the in-game highlights. I don't know how many I'm going to be putting out today because I'm going to be at the airport. But most games I'm not at, I usually have highlights and, lowlights and clips from games, just like I did last night on there. And then Instagram and TikTok as well. If you want to be a part of the show, 619-335-5770. That is the voicemail number. The Mets enter today 58-36. The Padres 53-42. First pitch today is at 4:10. It's on Valley Sports San Diego and 97.3 The Fan. The pitching matchup today, Blake Snell against Chris Bassett. From what I've heard, it's going to be a really good crowd at Citi Field. I think the Mets put out some tweet encouraging people to take mass public transportation so they don't, get there late or have to sit in traffic or anything like that. So should be a pretty good atmosphere. With Blake Snell, obviously, we know that the question around him is the walks and the consistency, and can he not have that one, bad inning and let something spiral out of control in that inning? Because usually he has some really good innings, and it's one inning that messes him up. And him facing the Mets the last 2 years, it's kind of been up and down. The first time he faced the Mets this year, or the only other time he faced the Mets this year, he pitched 4 innings and gave up 4 earned runs. Remember, that was 7 hits, 3 walks. He wasn't great. His ERA at that time after that game was 5.68 on 95 pitches. Remember, that game was when he had that really, really long first inning, and he ended up throwing, I want to say, 43 pitches in the first inning. Hold on, let me get this camera real quick, or this light. There we go. He threw 40-something pitches in the first inning. So hopefully that doesn't happen. If he has those short first innings, that's usually where we see Blake have success. Like, he has that first inning, and then he can, start building from that. Or he builds off of that, I should rather say. So that's Blake against the Mets. And his last start was against the Rockies, July 14th. He went 3 2/3, gave up 5 runs. It wasn't great. He just could not. I forget what it was, the 4th inning, right? Where he just could not control the strike zone, could not command his pitches. Walk. It was a walkathon, just walk after walk after walk. And it's those outings, man, they are painful. It was like that Sunday game before the All-Star break where Steven Wilson and Mackenzie Gore, they couldn't find the strike zone. And it's just like, come on, guys. It's like, if you're going to give up runs, make the other team beat you. Blake and some other guys on this team, they've had a history of that not really happening, So we'll see what Blake has tonight against a Mets lineup that looks pretty good. Brandon Nimmo's leading off. Starlin Marte's hitting second. Francisco Lindor's hitting third. Darvish got him a couple times last night. Pete Alonso's hitting fourth at first. Mark Canha is in left. He's hitting fifth. Eduardo Escobar is hitting sixth. He's playing third. Luis Guillorme is playing second base. He's batting seventh. J.D. Davis is batting eighth. He's DHing. And Tomas Nido's catching, batting ninth. Chris Bassett is on the mound facing the Padres. In Bassett's last start, he went 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run. He's been pitching pretty good. He pitched really good last year. He might have been an all-star for the A's last year. He pitched really good for them. Came over in that trade, I believe. Who went over there in that Bassett deal? I forget who went over from the Mets. But I think the A's got a pretty good return there on that deal. But he's a really good pitcher. He's like their 3-starter when guys are healthy. When Scherzer and DeGrom are both healthy. I know Scherzer is right now, and DeGrom, I believe, is rehabbing. I think he has one more game pitching, and then he'll get activated. So the Padres missed him this year, which is good. But Bassett's last start against the Braves, like I said, 6 innings, 1 run. He has gone 5 straight starts, not allowing more than 3 runs. He went 8 innings and didn't give up any runs against Milwaukee on June 14th. That was a while ago, but that really, really, really good start is in him. And most of his starts this year, he's had, 3 clunkers this year? He's been pretty good. So it looks like it should be another pretty good pitching matchup today. After last night was a really good pitching matchup. I don't think tonight's going to top that. Darvish Scherzer, I don't think that's going to get topped. Probably not going to get topped on Sunday night tomorrow in the Sunday night game with Musgrove going against Carrasco, even though that's a good matchup. But the way, Scherzer, he didn't pitch terribly. The Padres capitalized on some of his mistakes. Definitely Hosmer did. He had the double in his first at-bat, and then Scherzer left that fastball middle away, and Hosmer hit that over for a home run. Voit capitalized on a couple mistakes as well, turning on some pitches. He didn't pitch terribly. And then Darvish, he was just nasty with that splitter. A lot of strikeouts, 7 innings. He gave up, 1 run or something? Just amazing. Seemed like every strikeout was with that splitter. He pitched really well. So I don't think Snell Bassett's going to be I don't think it's going to be the same elite pitching that we saw yesterday, but it could be pretty good if Blake Snell can get ahead of hitters, because when he gets ahead, batters this year, I believe, are hitting 115 off of him. When he gets behind in the count, batters are hitting 357 off of him. That's a huge difference. So get ahead, stay ahead, don't be behind, because then you're in trouble. All right. For my Padre pick today, I'm going to go with Nomar Mazara. Yesterday, I went with Crony. He had the triple in the 9th, so I'm 56-33 so far this year with my Padre pick. The Padres lineup today, Mazara's hitting 4th, by the way, so yes, he's in the lineup. And career off of Bassett, he's hitting 250 and 8 at-bats. Leadoff is Profar, he's in left. Crony's batting second, playing second. Manny's hitting 3rd, playing 3rd base. Mazara's in right. Voit is DHing. Hosmer's at first base again. If the Padres have a lead, he'll be out of the game at the end of it if it's close for lack of defense, like we saw last night. Last night, by the way, was the first time that Bob Melvin pulled Hosmer, I believe, in the 8th inning. Hey, pull him whenever the heck you want to. Please. I don't want him playing. I mean, yeah, he was great yesterday, but even after the home run, he went right back to his old habits, grounding into double plays, just pounding the ball into the ground. Alfaro's hitting 7th, catching. Grisham is batting 8th. So no Ruiz again. Ruiz came into the game for defense late and played right field, I believe. Made a pretty good catch. So no Ruiz. Grisham batting 8th. Abrams batting 9th at shortstop. So that's the Padres lineup. I like it. I'd prefer Alfaro to be a little higher over Hosmer and maybe even over Voit. But other than that, can't really complain too much. And with the bullpen situation, Rogers threw 15 pitches yesterday. The bullpen chart is up on the Talking Friars Twitter and Instagram. As always, Rogers threw 15 pitches yesterday. Martinez threw 12. I'm surprised why the Padres keep throwing him out there for 1 inning. Usually, or when Martinez started out of the bullpen, they were having him throw like multiple innings. They're not really doing that anymore, at least as of late. I don't have the game logs open, but at least from memory, I don't think they're doing that much anymore. Martinez pitched the eighth, Rogers pitched the ninth. So is that telling me that Nick Martinez's role is changing a little bit? It's now being the setup guy, the eighth inning guy over Garcia? Or are they still having him going to pitch multiple innings? They just didn't want to throw Garcia there, like everyone's fresh. That's why I'm wondering that, because everyone was fresh last night because they had 4 days off. No relievers went to the All-Star game. So it just seemed like to me, Garcia is usually an eighth inning guy. Why was he not pitching last night? And why was Nick Martinez pitching? I like Nick Martinez pitching. I'm very confident in him. He's probably the second most confident guy I'm in, probably in the bullpen, if that makes sense right now. And DVD Pash says, Martinez and Nabil's role, what should they be? Yeah, I think Nabil and Martinez could be your 7th and 8th inning guys if they both pitch well consistently. I guess, it just kind of hinges on how Garcia does, because I think the Padres like Garcia in that 8th inning. But if he's not pitching well, then you got to go probably Nabil and Nick, right? That's what I would think. And Gore, they're not going to trust him back in the starting rotation or in any high leverage relief role until he can pitch in a game where they're up like 4 runs or something in like the 6th or the 7th or in the 8th or whenever they feel it's comfortable to put him out there and he has a little bit of room to work. Unless he excels there, like I don't think they're confident right now in putting in putting McKenzie in any high leverage situation. So I think it's Martinez, Chris Matt, and Garcia sharing 7th, 8th inning, and Rogers for the 9th. So Mazar is my Padre pick, like I said. All right, now let's get to the trade rumors. Quick note here: Will Myers could join the team in Detroit. Don't know if you guys saw that. He played first base last night. He's played center field. He played first for El Paso last night. He's played the outfield. He's DH'd with Lake Elsinore last week in rehab games. So it'll be interesting to see where he plays, how much playing time he gets when Myers comes back, because Nomar has been playing every day like he deserves to in right field pretty much, because he's been one of the Padres' best pitchers. So that's some Will Myers stuff. The latest trade rumors, the Padres have discussed adding Ian Happ and Wilson Contreras. Dennis Lin reported that today in The Athletic. I put a tweet up about that on the Talking Friars Twitter. So adding Happ and Contreras, like what, the question there, obviously that would make the Padres a better team. You're adding 2 all-star players and 2 guys that would probably hit top 5 in the lineup at least, right? Even when Fernando comes back, Happ, Tatis, Contreras, Machado, Cronenworth, like that might be, a top 5 there. What was I going to say? So, the takeaway or the question I have coming from this report from Dennis Lin is, who would the Padres give up in a deal like this? Campusano, definitely, he'd be gone. See ya. Bye. If we're getting an all-star catcher, he's gone. Alfaro, there was the report by Kevin Acee last week. Was it no, this week? Sorry, I'm getting my weeks mixed up. There was a report by him saying that Alfaro would be gone probably if the Padres traded for Contreras. Now, I think a lot of people were assuming they'd trade Alfaro for Contreras. That's not what Kevin said. He said that he'd likely be dealt. So maybe they trade him in a deal and they go get back some impact reliever or whatever they feel like getting. Maybe they do that if they get Contreras. So maybe he doesn't necessarily go in that Cubs deal. They have Campusano go, and the Cubs are confident in Campusano. They want to give him everyday playing time because the Cubs aren't contending. And then maybe you see a match there like that. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to have Contreras and Happ on the team. I just don't know what the Cubs would be asking for in an Ian Happ trade, specifically for Ian Happ. Like, they would ask for Camposano definitely, maybe even Alfaro in a deal for Contreras. Darth Vader asks, will the Cubs get Nola? I don't think the Cubs are really that interested in Nola. I don't know if any team is that interested in Nola. Like, he's on I saw this morning in Kevin Acey's newsletter, he said that he's on a 7 Nola's on a 7-game hit streak. But then I dove into it deeper because sometimes Kevin just puts the hit streak and the basic numbers, and I went into it deeper to see, like, is this guy, like, slugging? And he's not. He has, like, 1 RBI or something. He's not driving any runs in that 7-game hit streak. His slugging percentage is, like, 2 percentage points higher than his on base. So he's had, like, 1 double in this 7-game hit streak. I think it was yesterday. So he's not slugging. Teams, if they want a catcher like that, they probably want a catcher who can slug. And that's Alfaro more than Nola. I don't think teams are interested in a contact catcher, if that makes sense. Like, you want your catchers, you want all your hitters to make contact. I just don't know if a team would rather have Nola over, like, Alfaro, you know? In fact, I don't think any team would want Nola over Alfaro, to be honest. So, no, I don't think Nola would go in a Happen Contreras trade. The other trade rumor was from Ken Rosenthal, and he said on FS1, oh, quick lineup change. Is it Kim? Hold on one second. I'm trying to look. Let me look up because AC just put. If someone put that in the chat, I'm sorry. I was focused on the trade rumor thing. Yeah. So Hassan Kim. So late scratch. No CJ Abrams. Hassan Kim is playing shortstop and batting ninth. So now it's Profar, Crony, Manny, Mazzara, Voit, Hosmer, Alfaro, Grisham, Kim. So don't know what's happened to CJ Abrams. CJ is gone. Out of the lineup. He hasn't been traded. I haven't seen anything that he's been traded, but he's out of the lineup. I don't know. Now, look, everyone on Twitter, I'm already looking at Twitter. Everyone is saying, welcome to San Diego, Juan Soto, with, eye emojis or Preller. There's no trade. There hasn't been any trade yet. Abrams is not gone from the team, but he's out of the lineup today. That just happened. Now, talking about CJ Abrams, he would definitely be involved, I would think, in a Juan Soto deal. Ken Rosenthal said on Fox Sports 1 probably like an hour ago that the Nationals are not negotiating and are looking for 4 to 5 top youngsters, a combo of prospects, and major leaguers with low service time. So if they want 4 to 5 prospects, well, not prospects, 4 to 5, a combination of 4 to 5 prospects and major leaguers with low service time, the Padres have that. There's some teams that probably have one of those two, or they don't have 4 or 5 of those. The Padres have that. They have a combination of the prospects, high, really talented prospects, young prospects, Robert Hassel III and James Wood. They have major leaguers with low service time, CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, maybe Trent Grisham. I think he has like 3 years after this year of control. So, yeah, DVD pass. Yeah, that sounds like what the Padres have, because it is. The Padres have that. If they want Juan Soto, it feels like they have what it takes. From what I've heard from reports, I mean, I apologize. I don't know the names. I forget who said this, but there's been reports out there, or at least one, where Mike Rizzo is not just looking for 4 to 5 top prospects in a system or combination of top prospects and guys with low service time. What he's looking for is specific guys that he likes. So does he like Gore? Does he like Abrams? I think it's hard to not like them, specifically Gore, from what we've seen, his high upside. Does he not like Hassel? He was just in the Futures game, hit second in the Futures game lineup. Like, how can you not like him? Do you not like James Wood? I mean, this guy could be a starting outfielder for the Nationals for a long time. Don't know how you wouldn't like him. Like, it feels like the Padres definitely have what it takes to go get Juan Soto. And I would be, what do I want to give up Hassel? No. Do I want to give up Wood? No. Abrams? No. Gore? No. But I know that it's a trade. You're going to have to give something to get something. And what the Padres would be getting in return is not just something. They'd be getting Juan Soto, a guy that's being compared to Babe Ruth, like being the best trade for a young player since Babe Ruth. That's what Buster Olney said the other day before that Dodger-Giants game on ESPN. Like, this is a huge, huge player the Padres would be getting back. They're not just getting him back for one pennant race. They'd be getting him back for 3. And so that's why I'm willing to do this, because as a Padres fan, all I've been told, by Preller, and not specifically, but he's been hinting that, and by his actions, right, that they're trying to win right now, this year, with the rotation that they acquired before the season started with Manaea, and they have Musgrove and Darvish, and they brought up Gore, and they brought in Bob Melvin, who is trying to win a World Series as a manager. They're trying to win right now. You don't bring in those guys. You don't bring in Taylor. You don't make that Taylor Rogers move on opening day and all that if you're not trying to win right now, right? So you are trying to win. There's no other time. I said this on the radio with John and Jim in studio, I think last, when was that? Wednesday. This past Wednesday. Like, this is the time to win. And what better time than now? Like, I don't think the Padres are going to have a better shot to win the World Series than right now. And probably what I mean by right now is this year with the rotation that they have. Like, you look at past World Series teams, they had a strong rotation and they had a good core of guys, right? If you had Juan Soto in this lineup, like, who would you rather have? So the next 3 pennant races, and this is kind of veering off from just this year, but also to years in the future as well. Who would you rather have this year, Juan Soto or Robert Hassel III? You'd rather have Juan Soto because he's in the big leagues. He's one of the best players in the league, right? Who would you rather have next year, Soto or Hassel? Soto. Who would you, because Hassel's just getting up here. Who would you rather have in 2024, Soto or Hassel? Soto. He's in the middle of his prime, right? So you'd rather have Soto than your top outfield prospect for the rest of the time that Bob Melvin's in San Diego, right? Same with James Wood. You'd rather have Soto than James Wood, So, like, I'd be willing to do that. And if you have to give up Grisham in addition to those top 4, like, I'd be willing to do that. Because you can have Ruiz play center field. You can have Myers even if you want him to play a little bit of center field. That can happen. I'd move heaven and earth to get Juan Soto, This player does not come around every year at the trade deadline, There's always, like, all-stars that are available at the trade deadline every year. That's not the case with a guy like Juan Soto. He's not just an all-star. He's way better than an all-star. You know? When Manny Machado was available for one pennant race for the Dodgers and how many teams were in on that and the Dodgers gave up a good amount? Like, and then you can even also say the Scherzer-Turner trade, right? Trey Turner is not as good as Juan Soto, and Max Scherzer didn't provide an impact to the Dodgers as much as Juan Soto will provide to his next team. But the Dodgers still had to give up their top 2 prospects for that. For one pennant race of Scherzer and 2 of Turner. You're getting 3 of Juan Soto, who's better than Turner, like I just said. Like, you're going to have to give up a lot. I'm fine with giving up a lot. Now, as I mentioned, giving up Jake Cronenworth, that's something different. Giving up Abrams and Cronenworth, that's different than just giving up Abrams. I think the Nationals should want Abrams over Cronenworth because they want controllable guys, like Ken Rosenthal just said, controllable young players. That's what Abrams is. Cronenworth is still controllable for like 3 more years after this year, but it's not 6 or 5. It would be 5 for Abrams, and Cronenworth's entering his arbitration year next year. Abrams is still going to be being paid what, the second year minimum or whatever that is, less than $1 million. So I just don't think that it makes sense for the Nationals to want Cronenworth over Abrams. And for the Padres' sake, having Cronenworth over Abrams, like that's better for the Padres because the Padres are trying to win right now. And Jake Cronenworth helps the Padres win right now more than CJ Abrams does. Like Crony with his versatility, he's playing every day. Like, sorry, he helps more than Abrams right now. Steve with the super chat, I appreciate that. Finally, congrats on 1,000. Thank you. I appreciate that, Steve. If you guys want to support the channel, you can hit that super chat or the dollar sign. I think that's what it is, the dollar sign button down in the comments. And then on regular videos, I think there's a thanks button as well where you can hit that. If you don't want to pay or you don't have any money, totally understand. I appreciate you guys just coming in here and talking Padres baseball. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I love talking about the Padres with you guys. And given this is a platform for me to give my thoughts. So I appreciate you guys for watching. All right. I've been talking for a while, so I wanted to get some chats here. I know I haven't been really looking at that because I've just been going on kind of in different lanes about a possible Soto deal. We already talked about the Martinez and Nabil roles. Again, today's game's at 4:10. I already went kind of through the pregame portion, so if you're just coming in, you can rewind if you want to hear about that. But I'm talking about the trade rumors that we've heard today. Nothing, no update, at least today, for the Musgrove extension. There's progress being made. That's pretty much what was said yesterday by Musgrove, and that he thinks a deal will come at the right time. So I'm very optimistic that a deal will get done. If the guy that has to sign it is literally saying it will come, I think it's going to come. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to be thinking about it. Anyone on Twitter knows I'm a big Extend Girl Must Fade, fan, pumping that up. Where's Kim? He's out of the lineup. Kim is in the lineup. CJ Abrams is out of the lineup. There hasn't been last time I checked, there was not any injury update. Yeah, no injury update or if there's a trade or anything. I'm sure we would have heard something, but if there was a trade, but no, it feels like CJ's just scratched. If he's scratched from the lineup and it's not an injury, well, maybe that means that Soto's coming to San Diego. No, I doubt that would happen today. Izzy says include Hosmer and they get Campy, Hassel for Happ and Contreras. So that if that happens and you include Hosmer, or excuse me, if you include Hassel in that deal, I don't think you're getting Juan Soto then. So if you're fine with that, and I think getting Happ and Contreras, I would be happy. I just don't want Soto going to like the Dodgers or the Cardinals or the Giants, right? But I'd be happy if they got Happ and Contreras. You're still upgrading your team significantly because those are two all-stars, right? It's an upgrade in center. It's an upgrade at catcher. And Campy just wasn't going to be playing this year. Don't know if he would be playing next year. And you get to keep Alfaro. Yeah. That wouldn't be the end of the world. And I just don't know if the Cubs are willing to take on Hosmer. That's the big question. But if you're including Hassel in that deal, I don't think then that would mean the Padres still get Soto. I think they'd just be done, at least with an outfielder, starting outfielder. Loans by Sean asks, where's Ruiz? On the bench, just not playing. Yeah. Grisham hit the home run last night. Kind of got to just play him. I think Bassett's a righty, I believe, so right on left matchup tonight. That's probably why. Yeah, Darth Vader says my trade won't work under baseball trade values. I don't know if he's talking about someone in the chat or like the Cubs trade that I was just talking about, or if you're talking about the Soto stuff. If it doesn't work under trade values, that doesn't mean that it won't work in real life. I do use that for trade hypotheticals and stuff like that because that's all we have to see if something might be right. But That's not the end of the world if it doesn't work under baseball trade values. Here's a super chat by Sean. I appreciate that. Do you think Preller is focusing on the Cubs trade to give them Hosmer's contract so they can make room for Soto? I can see Hassel being used to do it. Well, what I would say with that is maybe Preller is calling the Cubs and try because the Cubs do seem like I was looking around at payrolls the other day to see who might be able to take on Hosmer's contract. And yeah, the Cubs feel like the prime team that would be able to do it. Big market, they have the room. Um, but you say that you could see Hassel being used in it, then you're not getting Soto. So, you say, are they focusing on the Cubs trade to give them Hosmer's contract so the Padres can have room for Soto? Well, if you put Hassel being used in that Cubs trade, then they're not getting Soto. I don't think because I think the Nationals want Soto. Or excuse me, they want Hassel because Hassel's a MLB. He's going to be a future. He could be a future All Star. He's already played in the futures game. He just played in it last week. So I think the Nats want Hassel in a Soto deal, so you can't include him in that Cubs deal. Darth Vader says, I'm guessing another trade. Are you talking about the trade values? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I appreciate for that. I appreciate you for the super chat too. Yeah. If, one trade that's, if there's a trade that goes down or at least you're trying to have it go down on baseball trade values and it doesn't work, that's not the end of the world. I, I and fans like to use it as well because that's pretty much what we have, right? We're not in the room. We don't know what Mike Rizzo, like specific players that he wants. So we kind of just have to guess. Filipino says, thank God you're not as obnoxious as the other dude doing the YouTube post game shows. I know who that is. Yeah. Look, I'm not someone that's gonna get on here and no disrespect to him. Just no disrespect to him. I'm not gonna get on here and scream about every game. I'll get passionate. I have season ticket. My family has season tickets. I am a diehard Padres fan. But I don't think that's just, that's just not who I am. Screaming and yelling about every single game. That's not really me. I appreciate that. This is a good point by Izzy. Hope AJ doesn't spend the rest of the time trying to get Soto and miss out on other deals. That's a risk that you do take. The good news, though, is that the other guys that they're in on, like Ian Happ and Contreras, I don't think they're going to take. I don't think the Padres are going to have to give up players that they'd have to include in a Soto deal to make those deals. I think that's the good news, if that makes sense. Like for the Soto deal, I think it's Hassel, Gore, Abrams, and Wood. Like those four prospects are major league players with low service time. Excuse me. I think you give up those in the Soto deal. And then Contreras, it's Camposano, maybe Alfaro, and maybe, I don't know, like a Jackson Merrill or something. Like, I don't know. But I don't think you'd have to give up. I don't think the Cubs are going to be like, you're not getting Contreras unless you give us Hassel or something like that. And the Nationals, they just acquired last year at the deadline, they acquired Kyber Ruiz, who's catching for them, that young prospect. So they're not probably going to demand Camposano in a Soto deal, like as the make or break. So that's the good news. So he can still go around. And if they don't get Soto, it's like, it feels like they're going to get someone else. I feel like they're definitely going to get a significant player. They're definitely going to get a significant player, I think. Yeah, Cobra. CJ was scratched today. Yep. So Ha-Seong Kim's batting ninth. Cobra says if we trade Abrams for Contreras, I'm going to be mad. Yeah, I don't think you don't trade CJ Abrams. Is he still a prospect? I don't know if he's considered a prospect still. You don't trade that guy who was your number one prospect at one point you don't trade him for one pennant race of Wilson Contreras. That would not be fair. That would not be a fair deal. Contreras is an all-star, but you don't trade away 5 years of service time beyond this year of a potential guy that you could use in a Soto deal for one pennant race of Contreras when you could just have Alfaro catch the rest of the year. And you have him under control for next year, too. That would be giving up too much. So I don't think that's happening. Don't worry. Yeah, Justin. Yeah, they updated the lineup. No Abrams. Kim is batting ninth at shortstop. Just trying to see if there's any updates. Nothing. No other updates. All right. Well, 4:10 is the first pitch. Whoa, my desk just moved. 4:10 is the first pitch. It'll be Blake Snell on the mound for the Padres, Chris Bassett on the mound for the Mets. Valley Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. At Talking Friars on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Stay tuned to the Twitter specifically. That's where I'm most active, and I hope that you subscribe to this YouTube channel for daily Padres content, just like this, pregame shows, postgame reactions, all that. Go Padres, enjoy the game tonight, and that'll do it for the pregame show. I'll see you guys later.